Hello, I'm Adria and I'm a director from New Hampshire. I joined Zyia in March and I just promoted in May. I'm very excited to be growing a team and working with all these fabulous other women leaders and women excited to be growing their business. So thank you for tuning in. So if you have been doing this in sequence, you started out with your why, and Kim helped talk about the importance of getting to that. Susie Brown helped with your list of contacts, and then KSI had some great verbiage on how to reach out to people. So the big takeaway from all of this is how personal this all is, right? A really big takeaway that, it's so easy to conveniently forget, but the thing that I keep hearing and, the lesson I keep relearning is the importance of a phone call and how important your personal voice is in relaying the business, the opportunity, your passion. So that's just going to be an ongoing theme, that this is all really, really personal. So that's the good news. If you missed making it personal, if you were a bit too canned the first time around, when you get to follow up, there's a perfect opportunity to make it more personal. We're so lucky to be working our business in today's day and age where we can contact people through social media. But first we can kind of poke around and see what they've been up to, right? Like, did they just have surgery on their knee? Are they spending a lot of time with their daughter? Is it something they might want to work with their daughter? So think about how you can leverage social media, first of all, to be really making authentic and meaningful connections as you do reach out. So I'm going to share like 5 different tips or steps. I guess I would call them tips, 5 different aspects to the follow-up. But, just taking a step back, there's that cliche that the fortune's in the follow-up. We all hear that. But it's true, and it's really what will set you apart and make you one of the most successful people in your business, most professional, and it'll be the most rewarding. So it really, really matters. And when we're going to be following up, this applies to whether it's someone we've met for the first time, if it's following up on a sale, for a personal shopping appointment, for someone you want to host an event or a show with you, and definitely for people you want to join your business. That being said, you should be doing those all in reverse order. So start with offering the business. We hear that time and time again. Women don't like to continue to say no. So if you start with the business, they're more likely to say yes to the party or to purchasing. And there's no way, if they've already said no to the product and the party, that you're going to be like, oh, okay, then do you want to join me in doing what I do? So there's some really good logic there that I'm sure you've heard. Sorry about the shaking. I have to sit more like a pretzel so I'm comfortable. So let's dig in here. Here are my 5 different tips, we'll call them. The first, and this is something personal to me, but hopefully it'll be helpful to you. The first is to have an escape route, or think about it as a parachute. So yes, the fortune's in the follow-up, but the key to the follow-up is having a plan. So how are you going to get out if things get uncomfortable? Because I think that's really what holds us all back, right? We don't want to make someone feel uncomfortable. It's awkward. We don't like that. I mean, that's just human nature. And I think it's especially key with women. They don't like to make people feel uncomfortable. So what if you went into a conversation knowing that you could press a button and get yourself out of that situation if things got awkward? If you know you have that, then you're going to be more confident. You're going to be a lot more present when you have that conversation and you make that approach. So think about how that would sound. Imagine you are talking to someone about the business and they just go off. They've had a bad experience that has nothing to do with you, but all of a sudden they're on a tirade about direct sales and you're like, get me out of here. Here's what I would say, what I have said. And you need to find your own words, but this is what's worked for me. I would say something like this. Ooh, hey, I didn't expect you to feel that way, but I totally get what you're saying. But hey, I hope you're flattered that I thought to ask you. I hope you're complimented. I hope you're flattered that I thought of you and thought you might enjoy this. I hope you're flattered that I'd like to work with you. Those are different ways you can say it. But it's a positive way to kind of end the conversation and get yourself out of that situation. So once you have that in your back pocket, then you can proceed a lot more comfortably, because what you're really after is either for them to say yes or to get the information you need to move the conversation forward. So that's number 2. Get ready to dig. The real purpose, like I said, is to help your prospect work through whatever their objections and concerns are. You need to start with the idea that everyone wants Zyia. They want to wear it, they want to get it for free, and they want to be a part of this growing business and the opportunity that's so amazing. So if they deep in their hearts want that, you have to figure out what's in the way. And some things are unmovable. They may have a sick relative they're caring for. Their husband may be out of work, and maybe they really just aren't in a position to buy, host, or sell temporarily today. But if you start from the position that everyone just has a couple barriers in their way, and it's your job to figure out what those are and help them move them, that's really what we're up to. And as you do that, think about the gift you're giving them and how much you're helping them. So think about the different perceptions that they may have that could be wrong. They may think that Zyia is just for really skinny, really fit gym rats. They may think that Zyia is really expensive. They may think that they'd love to do the business, but they can't afford to spend over $1,000 on setting up a trunk. So you need to ask them, hey, so, what's keeping you from purchasing? You compliment my clothes every week at yoga. What's holding you back from trying out some Zyia? Hey, you seem to have some interest in the business. You have a great network of friends. What's keeping you from joining me and doing this? So when you ask that, you're going to get some information going. And you're going to want to just jump right in there, right? And convince them otherwise. The best thing you can do is get them to continue talking so you can form a better picture. And the best way to do that is just by saying these 3 words. Oh, tell me more. Tell me more. And just let them keep talking. And then you'll get a better sense and you'll know kind of how to help them through that. Tell me more works great with your teenagers. I use it a lot at work. It's one of my favorite new tools. That's just kind of evolved on my own. Number 3 is feel, felt, found. So kind of meeting people where they're at, not arguing with them. So you kind of meet them where they're at, share where you were, and share where you are now. So if someone complains about the price, like, oh yeah, those clothes are beautiful, but they're too expensive. I wouldn't spend that much. Say, oh my gosh, I know how you feel. I always shopped at TJ Maxx and Marshalls for my workout gear. That's how I always felt like, why spend that much money if you could get it so affordably? But what I found was, and then continue on with that found and just share that new perspective you have. So if it is about the price, I say, yeah, I know how you feel. I would always go cheap and, get what I could at TJ Maxx or Marshalls. But what I found was if I invested in really good workout wear, they would last me much longer. And at the end of the day, I'm not spending any more. I just have, better pieces that last me longer. Another objection you might hear that you can use this on is time. Oh, sure, I'd love to do Zyia, but I don't have time for that. Oh my gosh, I know how you feel. For the longest time, I felt like I could never possibly. But what I've found is I can work Zyia, when I'm waiting in the bus line, when I'm waiting for appointments. I really don't have to spend that much time on it to have an effective business. So feel, felt, found. You can definitely get more information on that, but it's a really good tool, meeting people where they are and helping them with that. Another great follow-up tool, this is number 4 if you're counting, is a tool to close the gap. So this works primarily when you're talking to a prospect in the business. When you've answered their questions, you're going around, and you're like, oh my God, they're gonna sign any day, but why haven't they? Just ask, hey, you seem really interested, but on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? 1 being you're running the other way, and 10 being you're gonna sign up tomorrow. Like, where would you put yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? They're typically, I feel like I hear a 6 or 7, and then you can just ask them, what's between you today is a 7 and a 10? Like, what's standing in your path? And again, you can help them through that process then and help remove those barriers, because they probably need to kind of analytically dog, he's so cute, but they need to explain analytically what's in their way. And I think when you start talking about quantifying their interest level, they start thinking through it a little bit better. He's so funny. Excuse the dog. So my last tip is to have a system. It's really, really important. You can certainly fly by the seat of your pants when you're first getting started. That works especially well because you're going on pure energy and excitement. But I'll tell you, after this many years in the business, when I've been at my absolute best, when I was recruiting really well, I've had a system. For me personally, it's a spreadsheet. I keep a list. I can pull it up on my phone, on my laptop, on my iPad, wherever I am, wherever I'm working. And the beauty there is, if you've got 5 minutes, you can pull that up quick and you know who to contact. You're not just sitting there scratching your head 5 minutes. And a system doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be high tech. It can be index cards. It can be a binder. It can be a notebook. I'm just a little bit more techie, and I appreciate having a spreadsheet. I've got a spreadsheet for everything. But really having a system so you are efficient in your follow-up, that's really, really key. So those were my 5 tips, tools, aspects to the follow-up. I hope they were helpful. I really welcome any feedback, anything that you appreciated or didn't appreciate. Make sure you tune into the next session. It will be delivered by Ingrid, and it's all about booking. So thanks again for tuning in. And again, I'm Adria from New Hampshire. Thanks.